The final shape is. I don't know how far away it is at this point, but it's coming. And what sets the final shape apart from all the other expansions is that this is the time for answers. This isn't like how Beyond Light, an expansion marketed as a pyramid ship expansion, was ideally the time for answers regarding the Black Fleet. With the final shape, it's the time for answers because it literally has to be. This is it, the end, or so Bungie says. And with that in mind, what is the main answer we should want going into this story? Although The Witness has been the focus of the franchise for the last 2 years, this expansion is not and should not be about this character. It is and should be about the destination itself, the pale heart of the Traveler. Ever since Destiny 1, we have wanted to know what was inside the Traveler, and 10 years later, we are getting that answer. The final shape is where the secrets of the Traveler need to be unveiled. And what secrets are those? Maybe we'll get some kind of idea of what the Traveler actually is, machine-wise, where it came from, how it was built, and who built it. But what I want above everything else is the reveal of the one who controls it, the Gardener. I had a comment recently that said that believing the Gardener still existed was cope. And you know what? They might have been right. But if you believe this, there's something that will be an absolute thorn in your side. And it is the key to why I'm hopeful that we will get our answers about the Gardener in the final shape. The statues of the Veiled Woman. They keep coming up, and they're in the final shape. Let me tell you this, my little penises. Even if the Gardener isn't revealed, the Veiled Woman statue most likely will be. You can take the Gardener out of it. If you don't believe she's real or she got retconned, that's perfectly fine. But can we all agree that in the final shape, we will most likely have the statues explained? And I think from all of you, it will probably be a unanimous yes. Okay, cool. And with that being said, let me tell you why this statue is of the Gardener. This is the Gardener. How do I know this? Robert Reed did a lot of writing for OG Destiny 1, the Staten Cut as we call it, the story of Destiny we never got, but whose bits and pieces got mixed and scattered into the lore and world of the current game. He specifically states, and I quote, "I saw various mock-ups of the central core of that universe, the Traveler, always round, with different exteriors and interiors, different sizes, and set in various points above the earth." That's that quote done, and now I'm going to skip ahead a bit. Quote, "What remains was written late in my first go-around, a rambling piece wrapped around the game's core. The character in question happens to be a god, the Gardener. This particular god has seen better days, and my assignment was to give the deity a voice and a distinct personality. My POV makes claims with a 'you do this and you do that' perspective." End quote. You take the "you do this and that" stuff, and you look at the Alpha Lupi lore, the lore that Reed is talking about writing if I'm not mistaken, and it makes a lot of sense. Now the full thing, this What Remains, got cut up into bits and pieces, right? Along with the rest of the OG Destiny story. So if the Alpha Lupi lore is that, it's all we have left. The Gardener and the Traveler have always been separate. One is a machine, a tool, and the other is a god controlling it. So it makes complete sense that when you look at concept art and drafts of the first Destiny cutscene, you have the astronauts encountering this woman. A woman who matches the description of this picture here, and who says that the Traveler is coming, implying that she and the Traveler are separate. And this woman has to be the Gardener. So now that we've established why I believe this picture represents the Gardener, let's do a neat trick. When I first understood that Kolobaev's art was about the pyramids, I thought, like many others, that the veiled statues were of some darkness entity or character. But, as I said in my Eldritch Theory video back in the day about the pyramid race, and as I've said so many times, When I studied this picture, I realized that the civilization in it must have had a golden age, which means they were with the traveler, and if they were with the traveler, and the traveler is treated like something to be worshipped, then yeah. They called it the gardener, their deity of life. That's a quote from Asa from Season of the Deep. And for those who believe that this statue represents something dark, let me say 3 things. 1. The statues were seemingly created before the fall of the pyramid race and the creation of the witness. Just like the ships themselves, the ships were not darkness or anything like that. They were made during the Golden Age. In the cutscene that we got in Season of the Deep, the Veiled Woman statue is carved up, and it's used as an analogy and a metaphor of getting the final shape. Just like how the Traveler was carved up in Lightfall to get the final shape, if you think about it. If the statues were created before the race encountered the veil and the darkness, it literally has to be the gardener. 2. The statue has repeatedly been shown with an attempted sphere of some kind around it. Garden of Salvation has vegetation growing around the statue in a sphere. Deep Stone Crypt has ice growing around the statue in a sphere. And in the Europa Pyramid, I don't think it's a coincidence that the light forms a perfect circle around the statue. These spheres, or circles, in my opinion, represent the Traveler, and the statue being inside represents the gardener being inside the Traveler. And finally, in Season of the Witch, we are told that the Traveler is basically screaming for help. This is from the Garden of Salvation statue. You're going to hear just the ambience, and then this sound, seemingly, is going to come from the statue. That sounds like a scream to me. Finally, we have the witness, we have the veil, and we have a little bit of info about the origin of the race. We're at the final shape, and we're inside the Traveler. The statue has still come up. The witness is done after this story. The pyramids will probably take a back seat too. This is the expansion where the veiled statue has to be explained, and so I am hopeful that a gardener reveal will come alongside it. I'd love to see the gardener appear as a woman to us through a cutscene, but I will settle for anything that confirms she is her own character and separate to the Traveler. But what about you? Do you want to see the gardener this expansion? Do you think we will? Let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, finding it either entertaining or informative, and if I hit the wombo combo, maybe both. I am pushing with all exertion towards 2,000 subscribers, so if you're still here and you think it's worth it, consider subscribing and joining us, liking the video, or sharing this video to some other bingus who you think would like it. I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.